Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I am super excited to be here today because I'm doing a new releases video. I have an Etsy store, if you don't already know. All the sheets that you see in my videos are my budget sheets that I created for myself, and I sell them on Etsy for pretty cheap prices. Just simple printouts that you can print out on regular paper, or you can print out on premium paper like I do. And they have these headers and all the stuff's laid out for you. You just fill it out and go on from there. So yeah, I'm super excited to do this new releases video. Today I'm only showing the Sunday start calendar that's already dated. In the shop you will see a Sunday start, a Monday start. You will see a 2-page blank calendar and a 1-page, I believe a 1-page month calendar that's more of a profile instead of a landscape setting. So yeah, I'm super excited about those. I only printed this because I actually use all the budget sheets that you see in this video. For my budgeting, I use what I need for budgeting, and that way I don't waste any paper. So that's what I do. But yeah, I'm so excited to share these sheets because it's February. They're really cute. They look like Valentine's Day. They're, you know, just love and joy and all the fun stuff that comes with Valentine's Day. That's what I feel when I see these headers up here. That's when I see the hearts and the shimmering of the hearts and the pinks and stuff like it. It brings all those warm and fuzzy feelings to me, and I love that. That when it's in as something beautiful as part of my budget, it just makes it easier to come back and look at my budget and want to write in it and continue to keep tracking and budgeting and sharing with you guys. So I love these. I love doing these for my videos. So I'm just going to hold this up a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better. And oh my gosh, it just looks amazing. They look like they can shimmer a little bit, and it's just the way it printed out, and it's just gorgeous. And I love the font. I love how I highlighted behind the font a little bit thicker than previously. And the days and dates, yeah, it just turned out great. So this is the Sunday start calendar. Like I said, I have other calendars in my shop, but this is what I'm using for my budget planner. And I'm going to put this off to the side now. This is one listing. Each calendar, dated or undated, is one listing by itself. Pretty cheap prices for those, $1 or $2, depending on how many pages and how much work went into each one. And the cool thing is, the only thing in my budget sheets that actually says the month is the monthly calendar. Everything else in the budget sheets never says the name of the month. So if you want to use them in different months, you are more than welcome to do that. So over here off to the side, I have my other sheets. And the first one I'm going to go over is the single listing variable and fixed expenses budget sheet. This is a listing all by itself, and what it is, it has 4 income, 10 variable, 10 fixed, and then a total fixed expenses and income minus expenses at the top and bottom here. And it's in the theme of the colors. I highlight the different sections, and I think it just looks gorgeous. Look at that. And all it says at the top is budget. This is for a person who has less than 10 variable, less than 10 fixed, and less than 4 income. Or if you need to, you can print 2 of these and to add for extras in your budget if necessary. But if you have a budget that's a little lengthy and you like to split it up from variable expenses to fixed expenses, then I have a 2-page listing that's separate from this. That is over here. Trying to get my paper separated here. There we go. Where you have 20 lines for variable and 20 lines for fixed. And oh man, this looks so cute. I love it. So 20 variable, 20 fixed, and then a small note section over here. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines for income. The reason the note section over here and not on the other sheet is because I wanted an even number of variable and fixed expenses, same amount of lines, and then whatever was left over, I just kind of created a note section. And I love adding notes to my budgets because when I reflect back, I can see what I was thinking and trying to make decisions on for the future. And I can also put in these note sections things that I know that will be coming up in the next month, and I can refer back to this, things like that. So I love that. And so, yeah, this is a 2-sheet, 1 listing, and it just looks so amazing. I love it. It's so cute. I'm ready for all the changes that are coming up with the new year, because it's 2021. We've already had New Year's. Today is actually January 2nd, so I'm a little behind getting this up. I try to get it up at the end of the previous month, a couple months ahead, but with the New Year's and Christmas, it just got a little crazy. So over here, I have a single listing by itself, budget sheet. It's income and expenses. I personally do not separate my expenses from fixed and variable. To me, it really doesn't matter because I have this actual column. So like if you have a utility bill, because they're usually variable every month to month, depending on what it is. And we're not under any program where it kind of evens it out for the year. So we're paying the same amount every month. We don't do that kind of program. We just pay whatever the bill is and then go to the next month. So our gas bill would be low, like in the 20s in the summer, but high in the winter, in the, depending on how cold it gets this winter, it would be like 40s, 60s, 80s, 90s, depending on how cold it is. And then our electric bill will be high in the summer and low in the winter because not running the air conditioning versus the heat gas. So for me, you can get programs with your utilities. And if you don't have one and you need one, definitely contact your utility companies and see if they can kind of even flow the amount, especially if you lived in a place for a year. They just look at last year's and then they give you an even amount for the entire year. And then if you need a little more at the end of the year, then you can pay the difference, or if there's less, then it's a credit towards the next month. So there's all kinds of programs to help you out there. So if you are looking for one, I would definitely contact the utility company. So, but because I can put the actual amount here, I can put the difference of what I think it might be and what it is going to be. Luckily, by the time I do my budget, my gas and electric bill have already come in for the next month. The only thing I don't have is my city utilities. So yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 income, and then we have 20 expenses, and then total expenses, and then income minus expenses here at the bottom. Now again, if this is not enough for you, which I know it's not enough for me, if you see my budgets, it's not a single page. So this is the actual budget sheet I am using for my budget planner. So I'm excited to get into this. I definitely love how this looks. It's so gorgeous. So I'm going to put this one aside for myself. The other ones are just extras. I don't use them, but these 2 sheets are going to be in all my budget videos for the month of February. Like I said before, the headers do not say February. So if you just love the pink and the hearts and want to buy it once and use it all year, you can do that. You can print it as many times as you want for yourself once you get this. So I sell these are PDFs in my budget shop. If I did not mention before, my budget shop in Etsy is Lisa's Faith Budget Plan. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. Really, really awesome. Hope to have new products, but I haven't quite got there yet. I kind of want to add stickers, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be. But I'm getting really close. Okay, the next listing I have is the paycheck to paycheck budgeting, and I absolutely love doing paycheck to paycheck budgeting. The reason I love it is because I can budget for actual cash that's actually in the checking account at the time of the budget. And so what excites me about it is I can write all the income up here, and then I can do all my expenses. I usually only need 1 sheet per day, except for Christmas time. Last month I actually used 2 sheets for paycheck 1 and 2, not paycheck 3. So yeah, it's really one of my favorite techniques or methods of doing the budget. I love the monthly overview. I love doing the monthly budget with the not fixed expenses, but income and expenses that I showed you with the 2-page listing. But this really keeps me focused on the day-to-day decisions. The monthly budget, doing it just for the month, shows me that I can pay all my bills and not go over budget. This is the nitty-gritty. This is where, am I getting too close to running out of money? Am I spending too much in one category? So on and so forth. So I love these listings. The pages turned out beautiful. I love the header, the way the paycheck and the highlight behind it just pops. I just love how it looks. It's so cute. And then you get 4 income, and then you get 20 expenses, and you have your totals and your income minus expenses. So this is the entire sheet. All of them are the same except for the tops headers change for paycheck 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You get all 5, even if you don't need all 5. You print what you need, but you get all 5 sheets. So I really love that. And usually I only use these 3 because very rarely does my husband get more than 3 pay periods in a month. Every once in a while he'll get a extra paycheck for his every other Friday paycheck, but that's only twice a year. And I'll deal with that when I get across it. And then I can use paycheck 4 for that. So I'm going to put this off to the side. And I will be using those sheets. The next single listing by itself is a transaction log. And I love this sheet. This is versatile to use for any topic that you want to use it under. However you budget, however you use transaction logs, whether you list everything by date and highlight, or whether you specify what the transaction log is for. Groceries for one, household for another, gasoline for one, and miscellaneous, or clothing, or whatever the category is. This is just a transaction log that you get to decide and title it whatever you want, or just do a check register run, or highlight budgeting. However you budget, this is flexible for that. You can also use this for like sinking funds. So I have a sinking fund sheet, and I'll show you that later. But a lot of people put money into sinking funds once or twice a month, and they'll have 10 or 12 categories in those sinking funds that are their day-to-day spending, whether it's a clothing category, or whether it's a personal money category, or whether it's an annual bill category, or whatever the category may be. They keep a transaction log every time something comes out every month, and then they highlight it based on what the category is. So this would go great with the sinking funds, but I'll show you the sinking fund sheet later. I don't personally use it unless I run out of room and I need more lines for my other budget sheets. So I also have a listing. This one's by itself, but I also have a listing where you get 7 sheets. And yes, that's a lot of sheets, but they're the same kind of sheets, same transaction log. They're titled differently, and that's what makes them different. You get the same date, amount, description, and balance for each one, and then a totals at the bottom. So this is sheet 1 in the 7-page listing, but I also sell it as an individual if you only want this one sheet. That's one listing, and then this comes with 7 other sheets also. And I did it that way because a lot of people like transaction logs, but they may not want all the other categories that I have in mind. So the next one I have is just groceries. So if you are somebody who buys groceries, or your spouse buys the groceries in the household, which works very well for most spouses that way. One buys groceries, but they never buy household stuff, and it's only the food part of the budget. This is a transaction log for that. And then I have one for household. This is the 3rd page in the 7-page listing. So, and then instead of buying your household stuff with your groceries, you do that on a different trip, maybe a completely different store, and that works. This is a great listing. This is a great sheet within that listing. But I also have one listing that combines the grocery household together. So if you're like me and you're at Walmart or Food Lion or Harris Teeter or Kroger's or whatever grocery store you shop at, those just happen to be ones around where I live, you can buy your household and your grocery stuff together at the same time. You only make one trip. Only one person is doing the shopping. Then that would make sense for you. And that's what works for us. I put a high balance or high budget for grocery household, so I can buy not just the perishable food stuff and non-perishable food, but items like light bulbs every once in a while, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, toothbrush, toiletries, paper products, plasticware if I need to for home group or people coming over or whatever. So that's my grocery household, which I love using. I will definitely be using this one. The next one I use, and these are based on my spending and the way I spend things. We love to go out to eat, so I have a list for restaurants, and some months I will fill this entire page for the entire month, but we also give ourselves plenty of money for restaurants for the month. So this is the same type of list. This is part of the 7-page listing, and yeah, it looks great. The next one I have is miscellaneous. If I can get it separated, there we go. And I also have in the last page of the listing, gasoline. Now you're probably going, but we're not going anywhere. And I totally agree, we're not going anywhere. But I still want to keep it because I'm hoping and praying that soon things will change. This is January of 2021. And hopefully things will improve after the holidays and things kind of calm down and the vaccine is out and all that stuff, and we'll be driving more and have more transactions. But I still offer it. Wishful thinking, I guess, but that's okay. It's part of the 7-page listing, and I love that. Sometimes I just write notes on it for right now until we get other things. So the next listing I have by itself is the weekly check-in. So the weekly check-in is another budgeting strategy or a budgeting technique or budgeting method to kind of help you check in with your budget week to week. Are you spending more than you realize? Is there one category you're like, wow, I really spent a lot of money there, but I didn't think I did, over another category? So I have 5 weeks, because there are a few months in the year, there are 5 weeks. So I just leave 5 weeks on all my weekly check-ins. And by leaving 5 weeks in all my weekly check-ins, that means if you don't need it, you don't have to use it. But if you do, it works. It's here. It's already there. Also, a lot of people get paid in unique ways, whether it's every other week or something like that, like every other Tuesday or every other Friday or every other Thursday. And when you have that, sometimes when you're doing your budget, part of your budget, like for January, I'm actually counting December 30th and 31st as part of week 1 in my budget, because my husband got paid on the 31st and I just moved over whatever we spent on the 30th and 31st to January 1st budget. And that's the great thing about budgeting, is it can be flexible. You can add those few extra days that are December going into January, and include those days in the budget, and it works, and I love that. So anyways, so this is a way to check in on your budget. Make sure you're not overspending. You have 5 categories that you can list. I usually only list 4, which is the same as my grocery, household, restaurants, miscellaneous, and gasoline budget sheets. They flow with this when I use them, and I always use them. So, and then I budget weekly to check in and make sure, am I going over budget, and do I see a spending pattern that I need to be concerned about, or do I see a spending pattern where I'm showing improvement on and I can congratulate myself for, things like that. And then because there was so much room on the side, I created a little notes on spending habits page. Typically, I actually don't use it for spending habits or notes on that. I actually break down my 5 weeks on how much I plan to spend for each week. Some people just take whatever their monthly is and just go down the balance from there. I actually budget for a specific amount for each week. And I usually try to put more at the beginning of the month and less at the end, because that's just how I tend to shop. And that's what I learned by doing these budget sheets. So I learned a lot about myself and my spending habits by breaking it down this way. So this is a great listing. Absolutely love it. I didn't know I would, but I do. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so here's the listing I was talking about before, the sinking funds listing. Oh my goodness, my favorite. So everything's my favorite, but this one's really good. Sinking funds is a great way to save a little bit of money for something that's going to come up in the future, and you can put it wherever you want. You can put it in cash envelopes in your own home. You can put it in the bank into a specific savings account if you open a different checking account and actually spend out of it as your part of your savings or part of your spending. And like I said earlier, the transaction log, let me see if I can grab that again. Here we go. This sinking fund individual listing and this individual listing transaction log would work great together, especially if you have a lot of categories here and you pull all your money, and this is in a checking account, and you want to write what you spent out of all those categories over here on a transaction log and use the highlighter method to decide or to categorize what you have over here with what you spent over here. These two work very well together. Me particularly, I don't do this just because that's not my style of budgeting with my sinking funds. My sinking funds are exclusively, if you watch my channel, my sinking funds, which I don't talk a whole lot on my channel, but maybe I should, are for annual expenses only. So they pop up only once a year, and there's only, not every month of the year do I have an annual expense coming up. So like in November, Disney Plus is a subscription I get. I pay $69.99 for the entire year. If I pay the $6.99 every month, that's an additional $13 than what I would have if I paid it annually. So I save a few dollars by paying it annually based on the subscription that I have, and I get my subscription through Roku, which is how we stream and how we watch TV. So I have a sinking fund for that. I keep my sinking funds in a savings account. You can keep your sinking funds in a checking account. You can do whatever you want, but it's just a way of saving a little bit of money every month towards several categories so that when they come up and you need to use them, they're there and ready. You pay cash, you go, you don't have to think about it, and it takes the anxiety out and the stress out of spending money. Absolutely love doing sinking funds. It's all the rage in the budget community, so check it out if you've never done a sinking fund before. The next thing I have is a savings tracker. So my savings tracker has date, beginning, how much you added, anything you took out, and then the ending balance. The way I save and the way I like to save is kind of like more of a sinking fund method than just putting little bits of money. I only do one transaction once a month as far as savings. So this doesn't work for me, but I know a lot of people, this style of tracker does work for them. So I keep my savings tracker this way, and I use a sinking fund sheet for all my savings. So they're very flexible. Whatever you use works. That's perfect for you. I like offering both. So there you go. That's a single listing by itself. And then I have a debt tracker. Now I'm not using a debt tracker currently, but I have used them in the past. You just put your debt over here, your starting balance for your debt, how much you paid in your payment, whether it's a monthly payment, a snowball payment, however you want to put it, any interest charges, and then what your ending balance is. When you start truly doing a debt payoff journey and you allow yourself to be graceful enough to yourself and whomever you are sharing debt with, if you are in a relationship or in a marriage or whatever, and you both have debt and you're working together to pay it off, being honest with your debt and facing it head on by writing it down, change your money mindset almost immediately, because you are willing to look at it and go, you know what, no more. I'm no longer going to carry this weight on my shoulders, and I'm going to reduce this. This debt journey is like a weight loss journey, literally, because you are feeling the weight of the debt as you go through your daily life, and you become lighter and lighter, more energetic, more free-spirited and joyful when you reduce the debt you have in your life. And it's just the most amazing feeling. We took 15 months to pay off $44,000 worth of debt. And we have been debt-free since October 30th of 2020. So if you're on a debt payoff journey, I pray for you, and I'm excited for you, and I'd like to encourage you. This is a great method of tracking and giving yourself that understanding that, look, the debt went down, the debt went down, the debt went down. And then you start noticing if you've got a lot of debt, oh, I've got a few less, I've got a few less, oh, I paid it off. The visual effect of a payoff is amazing. So find ways, whether it's this kind of tracker or another tracker that has icons on it or whatever, a debt payoff journey is always worth it. So I highly encourage it. So last but not least on my listings, I have just a simple monthly notes page. And I created this because it matches the rest of all the stuff. And I like writing in the back of my planner notes about the month, what I need to know for the next month, future plans of goals that I want to achieve, so that as time goes by, I have a place to put it and I can keep everything organized and I don't forget what I was thinking. So that's important. And that's what I love this note section. I think in December, my monthly note section was just everything we spent for Christmas, and I did baby showers and things like that. So I had all that written down. So monthly note section is important. And if it's something that you think you might need, I have a little piece, a downloadable printable for that as well. Now, when you purchase the package set, you get all of these except for the single page budget listings, but you get both variable and fixed and income and expense sheets. So here's all the sheets. I kind of had them on the floor over here. My desk is only so big and so much room. The neatest part of my desk is right here where you can see it. So we'll put this one in the back, and I'm just going to kind of spread these out a little bit so you can see. But there's several pages to it, and I really hope you like the design and like what I came up with for February. If there are other types of sheets, budget sheets, or suggestions that you have, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. If there's a style or a way of working the product that's more efficient or more appealing to you, I would love to hear what those are, and everything. And again, all of these are sold in my Etsy store. It's called Lisa's Faith Budget Plan. And I hope you have an amazing and blessed day. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.